Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and today it's December 20th, 2025, 5 days out of Christmas. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday season. We're going to get into the Cody Bellinger contract situation today. I'm going to make the whole video about this. I know I usually don't focus really mainly on one topic, but it really gets so much in depth between Boris, Bellinger, the Yankees, and the Mets. The Dodgers are involved. I think it's worth talking about. So over the past couple of days, a lot of rumors have come out. A lot of reports have been saying, of course, we got the original reports of Bellinger and Boris were going to teams asking for 7 years, whatever amount of money. The money was never really disclosed. It's assumed to be about $30 million a year. So that 7 years would range from somewhere $195 million to $210 million, which is a ton of money for Cody Bellinger. And of course, they kind of found that out the hard way. They were immediately shut down by the 7-year factor. No team was willing to offer Cody Bellinger 7 years, and it makes sense. Although Cody was really good last year, he does have an MVP in the past. He hasn't really had back-to-back consistent seasons since 18 and 19, and obviously that's like 6 years ago, so a lot of teams are really worried about committing to somebody that long. I think this first season with the Cubs was really good. The second season wasn't the best, but he was still a pretty above average MLB baseball player, and obviously the Yankees was the best year since 19 for him last year. So they're really trying their best to get a long-term, massive amount of money deal, and I think it's very unrealistic. I think we all understand that this is completely unrealistic, that it's just not going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see. Sorry. But from the Yankee side of it, it seems like the Yankees, or reports have had that the Yankees aren't going to go over 5 years. They're probably going to not want to spend more than 140 to 150 million on Cody. I don't see how they would do something like that, to be completely honest. As of now, Steinbrenner is really focusing on spending this year. I don't think he cares too much for the future. They have a decent amount of money coming off the books in the next coming of years. Stanton's contract for next year, obviously next year will be his last season as a New York Yankee for not next year, but for the 27 season would be his last year, but his contract significantly drops. I believe it goes down to $12 million. DJ LeMahieu's money finally comes off the books. That's another $15 million off the books. And there's a couple other Jazz would technically be free agent, so all his arbitration money will completely come off the books. He's going to make a lot of money arbitration. And there's a couple more examples, of course, but for the most part, the Yankees have quite a bit of money coming off the books after the 2026 season. I think Howe is really worried about the 2026 season. As they said, he doesn't want to go over 300 million. Then he said, well, 319 million less than 319 million would be ideal. That's what the Yankees spent last year. But he also did say that is unrealistic request, or something unrealistic to expect, that the Yankees are more likely going to spend more than 319 million. But with all the reports going on with how the offseason has went, it doesn't really look like the Yankees are going to spend even close to 319 million. They're sitting at 283 right now. Arbitration numbers have yet to come out yet. I know the Yankees were able to agree with, I think, Cabrera, and there's somebody else. I couldn't remember who else. They agreed with somebody else, but everybody else will go to an arbitration case. It's guys like Jazz, I believe Volpe, and a couple other guys. So they'll all go to arbitration cases and make their case to make more money. So it's projected as of now the Yankees are going to, the projection as of now is to $183 million. So gives them about 17 million to work with if they're trying to stay under 300, a little bit more, and then at that point, if you're going to the 19, then you're sitting at 36 million. So it almost seems very likely that the Yankees are going to go over that. So the Cody Bellinger stuff is strange though. I wouldn't necessarily mind giving Cody Bellinger 6 years. It would just have to be more on a lesser AAV value. If they wanted 6 years and maybe something like 165 million or something like that, where we're keeping it under $27 million a year, that's saving us money yearly, and he's still making more money in the long term. It's just the Mets are obviously going to offer Cody Bellinger more. I know they're off the table with 7. Everybody's off the table with 7. The Dodgers won't even offer him 7. I believe the Blue Jays were in talks with that as well. They're not going to offer him 7. It's really, as of now, it seems like just a battle of New York and Los Angeles and the Dodgers. So it seems like he's going to pick either the Mets, the Yankees, or the Dodgers. It hasn't really been much more rumors after that. I know Tucker rumors have been flying around, but Tucker, as of now, kind of seems like the Blue Jays are the favorite to pick up Tucker. I know he's talked to a couple teams, but the Yankees really have to get on top of this. They got to get this contract done, because it just seems like all of our other moves are essentially just waiting to see. It seems like they're waiting to see if they're going to offer certain guys contracts until they know, well, Cody Bellinger is now off the board, or now we have Cody Bellinger, now we have this much more money to work with. Cody Bellinger is off the board now, we can make these couple of trades and we have this much more money to work with. So it kind of screwed the Yankees for the MPP guys, because I think Murakami's ends today, so we should get who he signs with either today or whether, I mean, I doubt he's going back to the MPB. That would very much surprise me. But we'll get news either today or early tomorrow morning where he signs. I think Okamoto and Tutsaya Imai have maybe a week and a half left. So their signings are going to be within the next couple of days or a week or so. So I think the Yankees are probably out on Imai only in that case, because I don't think they sign Imai if they sign Bellinger. We know the money is just not in the right spot for the Yankees. They're not going to pay a ton of money for a guy he's never played MLB baseball. Yes, he's played baseball at a very, very high level, and he performed very well in the World Baseball Classic a couple years ago, but it's still a risk. We all know the injury history the guys from the MVP have coming over, so it's a huge risk, and it's really just all waiting on Bellinger at this point. I honestly, at this point, I just want him to sign, whether that be with the Yankees or somebody else. Please just sign so the Yankees can erase that part of their board, they can move on to the next steps, and they can actually build a team. I wouldn't mind another scenario like what happened with last year when we lost Soto, where we decided, all right, we're going to get Fried, we're going to go out, and we're gonna get Bellinger, we're gonna get Goldschmidt, we're gonna add these pieces because we lost out on Soto. So I felt like it built a better team overall. A lot of fans say, well, how did they build a better team? They didn't make the World Series. Our path to the World Series was significantly harder than it was in 2024, this last past season. The Blue Jays are way better than the Guardians. The Red Sox, well, the Red Sox were better than any team we played in the playoffs last year, going all the way to the championship series. They were better than the Guardians, the Royals. They just were. So we'll see where the Yankees decide to move with that, but I want to get into the more of the Boras aspect of it. Scott Boras, I feel like, is a very, very good agent for top free agents. Juan Soto was a straight up bid. Everybody wanted Juan Soto. Everybody was willing to pay a ton of money for Juan Soto, and Juan Soto got a ton of money. Got the biggest contract in MLB history, one of the biggest contracts in sports history. But then we get to guys like Cody Bellinger, where Cody Bellinger is a very, very good baseball player. He's great defensively. He truly is a 5-tool player, but he has not shown any sort of consistency in his entire career. He's had years where he looks like one of the worst baseball players, one of the worst guys in the league, with the bat at least, and there's always that factor of he is getting older. He's not going to stay 30 forever. If you commit to a 6 or 7 year deal, I'm sorry for making that dumb. God damn it, I didn't mean to do that. But if you make a 6 or 7 year deal with Cody Bellinger, by that 5th year, you almost are guaranteed that he's not going to be nearly the player he is now. Bodies age, it's just natural. It's what happens to all athletes that aren't LeBron James for some reason. LeBron's like the only guy that can do this, but it is not worth unloading tons and tons and tons of money. We saw what happened with DJ LeMahieu. We thought that contract was perfect. It was an absolute no-brainer. It made no sense why the Yankees wouldn't do it. Yeah, in year 3 we're in. We're like, this is one of the worst contracts on the team right now. We're giving this guy a ton of money to do nothing. All he is hurt, and if he's on the field, he sucks. Same thing happened with Aaron Hicks. Josh Johnson's a great example of that. He was only on the roster because we owed him a ton of money, and the Yankees didn't just want to release him because we sucked that year. It's all very annoying, but Boras is really screwing over players like Bellinger, because I feel like he's almost talking him into, hey, you're worth this amount of money, when he's not. And then he's like, I can do this, and this to show that you're worth this amount of money, and a team is going to eventually fold and agree to give you that amount of money. And now we see what happened. Teams are actually pushing back on Boras. Teams are telling Boras that Bellinger is not worth 7 years. He's really not even worth 6. He's lucky he's going to get 5. Everybody thought it was going to be 5. Every last person thought it was going to be a 5-year deal, somewhere from 25 to 30 million a year AAV wise. He wasn't going to get much more than maybe $150 million, which is still a ton of money, as we all know. And he's still going to take up a big gap in that luxury tax bracket. He's going to hurt you in the long run if you are at the border of luxury tax or no luxury tax, or if you're at the border of the next stage of the luxury tax. So Boras is not helping this situation at all, in my opinion. Look, at the end of the day, he could sign tomorrow for $210 million because the Mets could just fold, give him 8 years, $30 million. Who knows? That'd be 7 years, $30 million. That's bad math. But who knows? The Mets are a team to have done that in the past, but it kind of seems like the Mets are even getting away from that themselves. So I don't think there's much of an area for Cody Bellinger to really have to be like, I'm not signing with you unless you give me 7 years. It's not going to happen. I think a 6th year will be a team folding just because we really want Cody Bellinger, and we know 3 or 4 years of Cody Bellinger can put us in a better spot to win a World Series. After that 4th year, it's probably going to be a waste of money, a complete waste of money. It might be a scenario where teams might front load the contract because they know it's going to be a waste of money. They'd rather pay $40 million a year for him when he's in his prime and he's playing well, and only $20 million when he's not playing well, which is still a ton of money to pay somebody who's just not there. But look, in the end of the day, Cody Bellinger can prove everybody wrong. It might be another scenario where Cody Bellinger might sign a 1-year deal somewhere and get another prove-it deal. He's only 30 years old. He very easily could do that. 31, be like, look, these past 2 seasons, I was at an absolute elite level of baseball. I'm a 5-tool player, and then maybe now, on top of that, now he can get another 5 years. Now he can get his another 5 years. A team will give him 1 year, 25, 28, $30 million. They're going to do that. Nobody's going to say no to that. So it's very interesting. Boras likes to do that every once in a while. They did it with Bregman. They did it with Bellinger originally. He's done it with a couple guys. He did it with Pete Alonso. Like, he's done it with a bunch of guys. I'm sorry, I don't remember if Pete's actually Boras' client. I'm sorry if Boras is a Pete Alonso client. I do not know. Pete Alonso is a Boras client. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure he is. Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. But it's just a numbers game. It's a years game. It's a team who's willing to give up. All right, maybe this team just offered more incentives in his deal. This team gave him more bonuses in his deal. This team was willing to give him a suite or something. That's not going to happen. He's not good enough to do that. But, just for examples like that. So the contracts is interesting. I do think at the end of the day, I do think that he does return, but I really did think that about Soto as well, so you really never know. It's hard to trust any Boras clients anymore because I feel like Boras has way more of a say in where they actually decide to go at the end of the day than any other client or than any other agent in baseball. I feel like he really does influence his players. I feel like he is very good at his job. At the end of the day, he's really good at his job. He knows how to make himself a ton of money, and he knows how to make his clients a ton of money, so he's very good at that. But really, that's where I'm going to get into today. I'm not going to go much deeper. We understand where we're at with Cody Bellinger. We understand where the Yankees are at in the offseason. We understand that the Yankees aren't going to go make a ton of moves, and if they lose on Bellinger, expect a trade for pitching. Honestly, if they lose out on Bellinger, I would expect more of a signing on pitching, although right now the rumor is they're more likely to trade than sign, especially after the King final decision. I'm very happy the Yankees didn't give King that offer. That was too much money in my opinion, but it is what it is. It's not our money, but so we got to go. The Yankees got to figure all that out to get the offseason moving, because this team is not what it was last year, and we lost in the LDS, so they got some work to do. But that's where I'm going to end it today. So I appreciate everybody for watching. If you're on the YouTube side, if you're on the podcast side, I appreciate you for listening. Every last one of you is appreciated, of course. You all help me anytime you like, subscribe, listen, just even watch the video helps me out. If you guys are more into the short kind of things, I do post YouTube shorts. I post TikToks, Instagrams, Facebook, all that. Everything's Vinny Talks Yanks. Instagram's Vinny.Talks Yanks. So hit me a follow there. And as always, Go Yankees.